lovely, yeah, it's recording. Lovely audience. Hello. Anyway, welcome to another What If. Welcome to another video. So, welcome to What If Deku had the quirk tyrant-o-saurus. Sorry, I can't say tyrant right. Give me a moment. So then, I've done like 2 test takes of this. I think I can do the actual video now. Let's get into it. So Deku would be born as a governmental project. Project Tyrant, it's called. Now, the project is for one specific reason, and that reason is in case someone were, like All Might, were to go rogue, they need a backup plan. And this backup plan is Deku and his quirk, specifically bred for this one thing. Now, first bit of his quirk. It's mainly transformation type, but it's also a bit of a emitter type. And, well, when Deku transforms into this, his jaws, like, he has jaws inside of his outer jaws, like, see this plating? This plating on here? That can move up and down independently from in here, which gives him a terrifying bite, because he can bite you twice. He can bite with these main claws, pull in, and then bite with the internal ones as well. Quite terrifying. Second part of his quirk, his roar. Now, his roar or battle cry, if heard and you feel fear, you will transform into a tyrant. Well, a tyrant-human hybrid. You'll transform into a part tyrant, part person. The amount of tyrant is proportional to how much fear you felt when you got transformed. Well, we're getting transformed. And, well, your strength is proportional to how much of a tyrant you are. Well, tyrant, not tyrant. Give me a moment. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, Deku. And, well, you can recover from being turned into one, but it takes a while. The amount of time is proportional to how much of a tyrant you are. Now, the parts that are turned into tyrant is, well, they are permanent. And also, Deku can control, basically entirely dominate the will of anyone who is turned into a tyrant. That's why it takes longer for people who are more tyrant than shorter than people who are less tyrant. So, yes, give me a moment. Okay, so Deku would, that would be his quirk. He can basically control the mind of anyone who's part tyrant. And also, well, if you have a reptile quirk or you're reptilian, if you're a lizard or something like that, and or you have a lizard or something in that vein-based quirk, you will get mind controlled by his scream whether you're afraid or not. And another little aspect of his quirk is, well, that, the people who are reptiles and are placed under his control are actually immune to the tyrant effect. Yeah, they don't get turned into tyrants, but they still are controlled just as easily, if not more easily, because their body is 100% lizard a lot of the time. So, growing up, Deku would have a friend. Another governmental experiment designed to counter him along with the heroes. So, she is there. Yes, she. May. That's her name, and I'm not saying her last name because, well, I haven't thought of it. But in universe, like in the What If, something bad happened, which I'm not going to elaborate on. Don't. I know what happened. Don't say that I don't. But something bad happened, which made her no longer want to use her last name at all. Anyway, her and Deku would be extremely close. And while May's quirk is designed to not only stop Deku, but a lot of heroes as well. Give me a moment. Good grief, Patchy, you scared me. But yeah, counter a lot of heroes as well. If not most, if not all. Her quirk is anti-quirk zone. In a 50-meter to 3-kilometer radius of her, no quirks can be used if she activates a quirk, which includes mutation types. So if your entire body makes you a frog, then you are just going to be limp on the floor, along with any other entirely body quirks. Example, if Hawks were to fly in, he would no longer be able to use his wings or his feathers, and if Sue were to jump in, she would go entirely limp, and if, Mayonetta jumped in, his sticky balls would no longer be sticky, and they wouldn't regrow, and Midnight could no longer produce her gas, just as a few examples. So, yes, that's May's quirk, and that's Deku's quirks. Anyway, so them growing up, they would be extremely close. So close that, most people at the facility who aren't assholes think that they're maybe gonna end up getting married one day. Well, it's hopeful because they're both governmental experiments. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, Deku's quirk. No, blah, blah, blah. My brain's getting a bit backtracked here. Anyway, let's continue with the actual story. Oh my goodness. Blah, blah. I'm slightly hungry, so apologies if I'm being a bit dumb. I tend to get dumber when I'm hungry. Anyway, so growing up, Deku and May would, of course, attend school within this, and will train their quirks within the safe grounds of the facility that they're raised in, until they are old enough to attend normal school, which they are then classified as quote-unquote quirkless. At least it says that on their documents, and well placed into a relatively average school. Why would an assassin go after two random quirkless kids in a random school in the middle of who knows where? Just ensuring their safety. But yes, Deku and May would be forced to hide their quirks, but they would still train them. May is slowly and progressively getting better at increasing the size of her max out range, and Deku is getting better at, being a giant T-Rex. Oh, I remember what I was forgetting about Deku's quirk. Okay, quick. He can only eat meat, and if he eats his subordinates, the people turned by his quirk, they become... If he eats them, he grows in size and power, which is where the tyrant comes from in his quirk. The more of his subordinates he eats, the bigger and more powerful he becomes. Which is also the reason for the second jaw, just to make it easier to bite through them. And they're completely and totally willing if you count having your... forgive me a moment. If you count having every thought and feeling in your brain completely and totally either nullified or repressed to the degree where you have no free will of your own willing, which kind of defeats the point. But yes. So, Deku and... Oh, shit. Oh, fuck, I'm an idiot. Oh my goodness. I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. Anyway, Deku and May would, you know, hide their quirks, deal with Bakugo's bullying. Deku would always stand up for May whenever Bakugo begins picking on her. And in Bakugo's opinion, May's a bit attractive, as you would say. Well, she is. She's an attractive female. Why am I describing this? But yeah, Bakugo might get a bit interested in the future, and then Deku's gonna have to break his back. Bane style. Anyway, as well Bakugo is flirting with May, Deku steps in, being like, no, no, nope, 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 nope. Bakugo, no, you're an asshole. Nope. Deku's very protective of May, and Bakugo has no idea why. He just knows that they've known each other for an absurdly long period of time. Anyway, so one day Bakugo and Deku fighting because Bakugo was being an asshole. And, he would blast Deku's neck, burning it. He's not allowed to go complete until tyrantrum. And, Deku would begin to stumble and falter, coughing up a little bit of blood. May would quickly rush over to him, crying and, upset, because he's gonna end up dead just like a certain someone else that she knew. Yeah, see, I know her past, and I'm not making it up as I go. I totally am. I'm just winging it with her past. But yeah, as her quirk would subconsciously activate, everything in the area going a bit grayer and black and white. Well, not totally black and white, but gray. Fitting the atmosphere. As kids with mutation-type quirks, their limbs would go limp, Bakugo's explosions would simmer out, and everyone around would just be confused on what's happening. And, they wouldn't suspect May, since she's, quirkless. They think that Deku has a friend, another friend that's just sticking up for him. She would be trying to wake Deku up, with his body limp and not responding. As Bakugo would walk up, trying to console her. She would not want that. He would end up being an asshole, and this would snap Deku back to reality. Not even the forces of death itself can stop him from beating the shit out of an asshole that's busy flirting with someone that he definitely wants to ask out sometime in the near future. This man is lovesick. That's all I can say. Bakugo would say, "Oh, holy shit, he's alive. Izuku. Deku. Deku's fine with May calling him Deku because, she came up with the idea of Dekiru. The hopeful word. The Japanese hopeful saying word thingy-majigger. I don't know Japanese whatsoever. I just know Suki. That's it. I can use Google to translate it, but I have the memory of a goldfish. I don't even remember what day is it. What am I doing here? That was a joke. And Deku getting pissed the fuck off. And, one thing leads to another, and Bakugo's on the side of the curb, brutally beaten to a bloody pulp. Yeah. Anyway, we'll just go ahead and skip to UA. Deku and May are administered into the school. Through the government's permission, because they're fail-safes. If they don't get the proper training, which they have been for years now, but they do require social experience, as you would call it, so that people are less likely to be so that they're less likely to just execute an entire village of children. Like, just an entire caravan of newborn babies. Oh, Eden. Deku just turns them all into miniature tyrants and swallows them whole. That's dark, but okay. Well, no, it's not okay to eat babies, but it's just dark. Enjoy babies. They are a gift to humanity. Children. Anyway, now that way you perv. Like, be happy that babies exist and they are so cute. That's what I mean. Okay? Okay. Anyway, after that little cadenza, well, everything would go quite normal until they get to the door. May would slightly side-eye Deku, being like, did they expand the door just for him? Like, is he supposed to, was he supposed to walk in here as a T-Rex, and they just forgot to tell us? She would just lift her arms and shrug and walk through the door, meeting eyes with Bakugo. Her sticking her tongue out at him, and Bakugo being like, how the fuck did you make it in? I don't know, she would say, busy putting her finger on her lip, as Deku would walk through the door, giving Bakugo a death glare, and, well, red scales beginning to form on him. He's not worth it. Besides, the lawsuits would be unpleasurable. Anyway, so yeah. And well, with Aizawa's exam, the physical exam, well, everything would go pretty much as canon. Anyway, I have to end this off here. Goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience. Bye-bye. I have a few things I need to do, so bye-bye. See you later. Bye-bye.